Okay, Jakob Poeltl. Let's start with the namesake and see if it's him.
I hope we get it with this.
Oh!
All right.
Oh! Okay.
All right.
Okay. Shorter than 7'1".
And younger than 26.
Christian Wood?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Let's try it.
Okay, let's try it.
Oh, well, he's on
It's
the
a rocket.
Oh, okay.
Just do an S-E something and see if it auto-populates.
Of Sengun?
Alpernan
Oh,
Sengun.
yeah.
Do that.
Sengun, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Sengun.
Wow. We're going to get it in 3 right here.
That was a tough one.
Let's go!
Wow.
Welcome to All Caps.
Yeah.
Fascinating, interesting, and I think important conversation about fan toxicity has been kicked off by Russell Westbrook, whose wife Nina released a long missive on social media about the hatred and indeed death threats that she has endured as the partner of one Russell Westbrook, the point guard for the Los Angeles Lakers, who is not playing well. When I'm being harassed on a daily basis over basketball games and I'm having obscenities and death threats and death wishes for me and my family sent my way because you're expressing your truth, it's hard for me to get on board with that. Here is Russ speaking on it.
When it comes to basketball, I don't mind the criticism of missing and making shots, but the moment it becomes where you know, my name is getting shamed, it becomes a issue. I've kind of let it go in the past.
Can we just stop? So this is about Westbrook, a term that was created somewhere on the internet and is a reference to Russell's shooting woes. It's weird to me you're receiving death threats, but let's start with Westbrook. If it's me, I'm starting with, we're receiving death threats. That's like, headline is family getting death threats. It feels crazy to have to say that, one, yes, of course, don't send anybody death threats. That's crazy. Don't do that. Westbrook. Now, we've never used it here. It's a little hack because of how many people use it, but this is kind of what it is. When you are a notable person and your career can be criticized, because that's why we love sports. We don't watch a game and then turn it off and then don't talk about anything that happened. That's not the way this all works. You watch the game and you go, oh man, this person played great. This person played terribly. I think that this loss is this person's fault. I wish this person would do X. That's how we engage with sports, and that's why it's a huge industry, and that's what the industry feeds on, is the fact that this generates conversation. Does it feel great? I'm sure it feels terrible for Russell and for his family. All of which is to say, listen, it's unfortunate that we have come to this place, but the shooting percentage is the shooting percentage. Various important people around the team have blamed him indirectly and directly for the team being bad. And so all of a sudden, this stuff hits different. For instance, here's Magic Johnson.
I thought he was going to come with all this energy, get the rebound, go coast to coast. We haven't seen a lot of that. What I'm disappointed with Westbrook is
Now, do we think that he did this on purpose? I don't think he did.
All is not lost because we still have the play-in game. So if we can get through that, get to a series, yeah, we'll play one of the best teams in Phoenix or Golden State, but I'd rather for us to be there, because if we don't, this trade could go down as the worst trade in Laker history.
Whoa! That can't feel great that Magic Johnson, literally like a sainted Laker figure whose comments weigh heavily on the culture of the league and the culture of the LA Lakers, on their fan base. Russell Westbrook is a Los Angeles guy, and ostensibly one of his all-time heroes is like, acquiring Russell was potentially the worst trade ever in the 60-year history of the Los Angeles Laker franchise ever. So here is Magic. As many who have criticized Russell, perhaps in an untoward way, have been walking back their comments. Here is Magic. Russell plays an important role in the Lakers team and will be a key component to the success of the rest of the season and the NBA playoffs. Let's do better, unlike me several days ago, and rally around the Westbrook family and support them. Here is Ballsack Sports addressing the Russ comments. I'm sorry. I just picture like Ballsack Sports, like in a fine robe, like Masterpiece Theater, sitting in front of like a crackling fireplace, sitting down. I will now address the Russ comments. If the criticism of a player leads to a climate where he is enduring death threats and stress on himself and his family, we should dial back the criticism. A lot of us know there's more to these players than basketball. Let's support Russ. Signed, John Ballsack, Ballsack Sports. Is Ballsack wrong? I think Ballsack's right on the money shot. Ballsack Sports, right again. But you just gotta have a different account for these. It can't come from the Ballsack. You know, I didn't go to like College Humor to learn about like real issues. There's a lot of toxicity out there, a lot of bad feelings, a lot of criticism of players. It definitely goes too far sometimes. Listen, it's a stressful world. Let's cleanse the timeline with our good friend Josh Gondelman, the most positive human being on the planet.
And the crowd booing here at Crypto.com Arena.
Russ, it feels bad that the Lakers fans have turned against you. I'm sure of it. But they're not turning against you. You're just not the most famous person in the room in Los Angeles. That's just what happens. When a Lakers fan boos you, half the time, they're not even mad at you. They're really mad at the casting director who denied them a series regular role on Yellowstone. And look, this is coming from me, a bitter Celtics fan, so take it with a grain of salt. But also, I love it, and I'm right. You're not a bad player. You're a good dad. You don't want your kids to have to spend time hearing bad things about you at your job. That's not what they want either. Let them stay at home. Let them cultivate new interests. This is not an impulse to shield them from your bad play and the cruel audience. This is an opportunity for you to cultivate some work-life balance and enrich your family life through this separation. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. You can do this. Whatever you do, don't come home and show them clips of your MVP winning season where they'll be like, you're playing the same there. Why was everyone mad now? And you'll be like, I know. So anyway, you're gonna get through this. It's not your fault. You're doing your best. Good luck, man. But not that good. Again, Celtics fan. Also, Jesus and Mero, back Thursdays at 11 on Showtime.
Ben Simmons and the Brooklyn Nets are playing the Philadelphia 76ers, or the day before this video comes out. We have no idea how that'll go.
The hesitation. 33 and 33. Oh! 3 on the fly. That's it. Brooklyn wins by 29.
Let's go to the meat. Here is a recent New York Newsday article. So New York Newsday, for those of you who don't know, those of you not from Long Island, New York Newsday is the local newspaper of the Long Island region of New York. And here is an article by Steve Popper, IQ Gives Knicks Shot of Energy, which includes a picture of not Immanuel Quickley. First of all, just a quick lesson for those of you who are interested in the way the sausage gets made in the print business. Steve Popper had nothing to do with this picture. The beat writer who wrote this article does not pick the art, and a very, very, very important fact for all of you out there. Writers don't write the headlines. Whenever there's a headline and someone's like, what the fuck is this clickbait bullshit, blah, 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 that Steve Popper or Mark Berman or, Frank Isola wrote, why'd you write this trolling headline? They don't write the headline. The editor writes the headline because it legitimately is a clickbait headline. The idea is get people to read this. This is how this all works. You need to read the thing. So Steve Popper, it's not Steve Popper's fault. It's whoever the editor of this particular column is, or this section of the newspaper is. It is that person's fault.
It's worse that he's not even on the Knicks, right? It's Davion Mitchell of the Kings.
Yeah, I don't know literally how did this happen, other than it's clear that, well, if you look in the background.
In the big picture, he's guarding Quickley. So I think they just chose the wrong person.
If you watch this show and don't know this by now, but there's something wrong with you folks, it's Underdog Fantasy's Pick'em game, and it's the easiest, most fun way to spice up your NBA season. Just pick over or under on your favorite or least favorite player stats, and you can win up to 20 times your money in a single night. Underdog keeps it super simple with their easy-to-use website and mobile app. Pick between 2 and 5 players, and you can take home some cold, hard cash. Like Calvin Ridley, who's famously a big proponent of online betting marketplace. You only bet $1,500, folks. It's not that big a deal. Bucks at Warriors on Saturday. How much will Calvin wager? Less than $1,500, I'd say. Use code all caps and get your first deposit doubled by Underdog. Sign up and play today. Let's go to the scroll. Fuck Brad Stevens. Yeah. Here's Isaiah Thomas, former Celtics legend, speaking on the end of his run with the Celtics. His former coach, Brad Stevens, who is now the GM of the team, and by extension, former GM, Danny Ainge, who now works for the Utah Jazz.
I don't know. It's hard to speak on because I've opened my arms to try to come back in so many ways. And it's not even about playing and trying to, pick up where I left off. Like, I'm past that moment. But I know there's been times where I can help in that locker room. I'm not in there every day, so I can't speak on what's going on. This is from the outside looking in, but I felt there's been times where Brad could make a call and give me an opportunity, and it hasn't happened. So that's very frustrating.
I love this because as a Knicks fan, and a sports watcher, it's clear to me that the Isaiah Thomas trade continues to impact the perception of the Celtics negatively. To rewind, Isaiah Thomas was the scorer for the Celtics while he was there a few years ago. He was like their bread and butter. He was the guy that was putting the ball in the basket. His sister tragically died in a car accident, and also he was having some trouble with his hip. It was playoff time, and Isaiah Thomas put it all out on the floor to help the Celtics extend their season. He was up for contract extension. It later became clear that he would need surgery on his hip, which he had the injury which had been exacerbated by the fact that he went out there and gritted it out and played with a heavy heart and with an aching body. And rather than tender him a contract, the Celtics traded him.
Okay, so when we traded Isaiah Thomas for the best point guard in the league, that was a cruel thing for us to do.
Well, was it though?
Clearly it worked out. It was clearly an incredible move for the Celtics to do that. Listen, Mike, I'm not saying on logical grounds that you are wrong, because you're right. But I'm saying in the culture of the league in which, and in the broader conversation about people as human beings, not assets within a capitalistic machine, this is a bad look, is it not? If you're an NBA team that's like, we hope.
I feel bad for then. Let's just go, I'll be John Cena and we'll go full Make-A-Wish, and everybody who's sad can play in the NBA. People act like this guy was like Troy Brown, like we drafted him and he was there for 15 years. He was there for 3 years, and he's 5'8".
Well, hey, we don't need a short shit.
Which is fine for a person, not for a fucking
So what I'm
NBA
hearing is he carried the team for 3 years.
Didn't Anthony Davis's dad say he didn't want his son to go there because of what happened with IT?
The guy makes the playoffs only when LeBron is the best player in the world and no other times.
I'm glad that Isaiah has spoken out. I would like him to continue to speak out on the dehumanizing way that the Boston Celtics run their franchise, where players are just cogs in an inhuman machine, chews them up and spits them out just for the glory of the fucking Boston Celtics so they can continue on and hang banners one day. That's all they care about, is getting them one step closer.
It's also rare that a black dude wants to live in Boston so bad.
I know. Here is the one guy. Let's talk about our good friend Jason Gallagher's son, Luka Dončić, who I have to say is in the best shape of his career ever right now. Luka got into it with Rudy Gobert. He was absolutely destroying Rudy Gobert, talking trash to him. They got into it during the game, and then Luka dimed and then ended up near Gobert and then flopped.
Luka already has a technical foul.
Great dime.
What do you think?
And then
I don't think that's anything.
I like that Luka's like, I stepped on a landmine, and just so you know who it was that placed that landmine, it was that guy right there. It was Rudy Gobert. He did it. This is one of the most egregious flops that we've seen this year, and pure European on European violence. Aaron, you said this is the most European play of all time.
It is. Like, I don't think Manu's ever even done anything this European. I think Dirk did all of this work to show the toughness of Europeans, and they're ruining it again. Like, this
Dirk didn't flop. Dirk
for
really
him.
did not flop. Luka is a crazy flopper. But, like, he went pro at 13 and was the EuroLeague MVP at 19. Like, this is just how he was raised.
Luka has, like, 80s sports villain energy, like, in, like, a high school movie. He just seems so fucking just childish. I don't know.
After you flop and get the foul on a guy, if you're then firing up the crowd and pointing at the guy over your shoulder like, this fucking brute, the way he's throwing people to the ground, finally they caught him, that is truly troll shit. P.S. Everybody, today, 2-year anniversary of Rudy Gobert giving everybody COVID.
Yes. Celebration.
I'm going to touch my mic in honor of Rudy Gobert Day. Here it is. Nikola Jokic, a really great MVP race between two centers, which years after the death of the center as a impact player in the NBA was predicted and was opined about. The two front runners for MVP this season are two back-to-the-basket centers, Nikola Jokic and Joel Embiid. Nikola Jokic is fucking crushing it. Here he is scoring the first 40, 10-plus, 10 assists, 3-plus block game in NBA history, apparently. The secret to his success is basically that he is, like, as strong as, like, 3 oxen pulling a plow. Like, he looks clumsy at times, but dude just like bounce off of him. He is so strong. Here is Joel Embiid, Jokic's rival for the MVP, talking about Nikola Jokic.
It's a monster. I saw what he was able to do last night. I was watching the game actually. I'm always watching. I'm watching every game, but he's a monster.
Who is, okay, your MVP for the 2021-22 season is who? Mike?
It's probably Embiid.
Aaron?
I'm trying not to be a homer. I'll say Embiid.
Chris Paul? You're going to say Chris Paul? You're going to say Devin Booker?
We're 3-1 without them, so it kind of doesn't matter, does it?
No, just go with your heart. Just say who you think the MVP is.
I think Jokic should be back-to-back, but it should technically go to Giannis every year. But I'm going to say Jokic.
Chris?
I was going to say Jokic.
Ryan?
Embiid.
Zuri?
You cowards. Yeah, LeBron James. Let's do it. Everyone be a homer. Who cares?
Here's the thing. I think that Jokic, he's having a better season than he had last year when he won MVP. I also think that defensively, you'd give the edge to Embiid, and I think the run he went on before Harden arrived, when he had to do like legitimately everything, was like incredibly impressive. And then the kind of bullshit reason is we're not going to get a chance to give Embiid another MVP if we don't give it to him this year. For some reason, Jackie Moon was out. Here's why this happened. Will Ferrell sent Steve Kerr an email a while ago, and the Dubs coach didn't believe it was him. Okay.
He's a huge Klay Thompson fan, and he knows how much Klay loves dressing up as Jackie Moon, and so it was just kind of a natural fit, and it felt like a good time to do it, just to make everybody laugh in a tough stretch of the season. And he was great. He came into our locker room.
So here it is.
Honored the Flint Tropics. And so when you're scuffling and you need a little change of mojo, there he is. Bob Myers looking for possible reinforcements. Brings out Will Ferrell tonight.
They could use him too. His energy is unmatched. Look at the defensive stance.
Working with Klay.
A textbook closeout. That's what we've been talking about.
We worked out together. And Will
I love
Ferrell,
the kids courtside
it
being
was
like,
an ugly
who's
moment
that?
where
What do you think that the awareness of who Will Ferrell is and who this character is amongst younger fans of the game?
I said they would know who Will Ferrell is from Elf, probably.
Is that
That's true.
So no SNL, yeah. Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
It just. I guess my other question is we all fall off, as Russell Westbrook could tell us. The Reaper comes for us all. Who is going to dress in a costume and come to Will Ferrell during a tough stretch of his career and cheer him up? That is the question.
Oh my God.
I'm impressed. Especially when we got to Rockets and none of us were too sure of what we were going to say.
I was like, I don't know any of these teenagers.
I know, exactly.